All right, yeah, we got anybody joining us on Zoom?
Nope.
No?
I'll keep an eye on it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, shall I call this meeting to order? First item on my agenda is to approve the minutes of May 30th.
I read them and I'll approve them. I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
Okay, any changes to the
There were none.
minutes?
No.
Okay, all those in favor of adoption, give us saying aye.
I,
Those opposed, vote yes. Item number 2 is our upcoming events. We've got a golf tournament next Tuesday.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we build your meeting around that golf tournament.
Yeah,
next week,
Yeah,
and that would be good.
so it's, Tuesday, I'll come up with a time, but say probably it'd be 1 o'clock. And we would have it at the golf tournament.
oh, that sounds good, because in that room that we were in one other time.
Correct.
Perfect.
Yeah, and that way, it is in the county, it's,
Okay.
it's a public place, so. We, can I give a brief report,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman? It appears this will be our best year. We have 28 teams, signed up. That's probably just slightly over the maximum that we would want, considering there's 18 holes, so it seems to be going well. Looks like the weather's gonna hold out.
Oh darn, I like being in the rain.
Yeah. Our larger, remember, every penny that's made in that golf tournament goes to our resident fondest wish. We expect this will be the biggest year. Sandy and I are, Sandy's taking 2 days vacation, Monday and Tuesday. I'm taking half day Monday. And we will entertain our largest vendors at our expense at our residence.
Oh, good.
And then George, I believe, is gonna help us, Monday night by taking them for a river cruise at his expense.
Yeah.
So, we're working out those kinds of
I think I'll
details.
contribute to that.
Well, we're just, you will, I'm gonna hit you guys up for that, Canon thing that they do, where they
Okay,
pay
yeah.
the money and shoot out
Shot
of
fire.
cannon.
Just, yeah, just let
Yeah,
us know.
closest to the hole.
Yeah.
It costs,
Shoot the
it's
potato.
$300, so it'll be $100 each for the
That's fine.
contribution, and I sponsor the team. I don't golf, so I sponsor the team of 4, so, that's a contribution. Plus Sandy and I will do the entertaining of them, because they're flying in, earlier Monday. And I'm just working out the timing of all that with George.
Okay.
And, that will, just as a thank you for, making the rather significant contribution. It's funny, not haha, but ironic, funny that our biggest contributors are jail vendors for the nursing home golf tournament, but that's okay. We're all one county, so. And Diane's done a really nice job with the numbers. I got the, numbers yesterday.
Yeah,
So, you know,
that's good.
With where we are, it's the best we've ever had. So,
Great.
and there's a really nice, I should have brought it over with me, I was stupid. Maria did a really nice pamphlet. Taking pictures of some of the fondest wish events that we've taken the residents on.
Yeah.
And listing all the vendors. I'll make sure that, I have it over here I'll have it for you on Tuesday for
Okay.
sure. But she did a really beautiful job, of printing that out.
Now, can you have one for each of us individually? I'd like to, will there be more than one project?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're printing it for everybody that plays.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to show that.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really, she did a beautiful, this to me was her best year at thanking the vendors.
People in my community are really engaged in that. I know.
I will, I'll make sure we have some printed for you.
Perfect, thank you. I just need one copy and I'll just show you.
And every year she does a really good job because every year we get new vendors that contribute too. It's not, you have
Yeah.
some of the same from year to year, but we always get new vendors. So she's definitely on top of
Keep
that.
Supply, our jail commissary vendor was a substantial contributor, GTL. Was, our jail software company was a big contributor, and so it's been a good year. and we're maxed out. We can't take any more teams. They won't let us anyway.
So I talk about the fondest wish program a lot, so people that have me.
It's really
If you have something visual,
I think there's 8, I'm testing my memory, but I think there's 8 pictures of things that we did
with them, perfect.
with the fondest wish.
Great.
So, and there's a number of other things that we do that, you know, like if one of our residents, is computer savvy, you know, we'll buy them a laptop, and then obviously there's not pictures of that, it's more pictures of the excursions that,
Exactly.
that people have wanted as opposed to, you know, these things.
And that's a huge thing.
But it's really cool, it's really,
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing for Riverside, that the residents, the employees at Riverside to do that for the residents, and that's all in their own time, so.
all in their own time.
So,
Like,
yeah.
as an example, Sandy takes 2, you know, will take 2 days vacation.
Yeah.
You know, to do it, so.
How many years have we been
Oh.
doing that?
Since Ron Shagnon, George,
At least as long as
The
I
golf
was all the time.
yeah,
19 years.
19
It
years.
says right here.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, 19.
We thought you were smart.
And 19th
We didn't
annual.
have to
so.
point that out, you know. we just-
That's crazy how the time has just flown. I remember the first one.
I know.
I actually I wanted to do a fondest wish thing. I wanted to figure out a way in which to do it. And Ron Shagnon was the vice president of the Farmington Golf Club. Now, Farmington couldn't house it because it was
Right,
never,
we went to Rochester, didn't
well, we've been everywhere.
we?
Yeah, we went to Rochester, we've been to the Oaks,
Yeah,
but the reason we have stayed with Dover for the last several years is it attracts golfers. Because you can't play there unless you're a member. Or part of this tournament, or I'm sure they have other tournaments. So we've been, you know, staying in Dover at that place, plus they give us a break. You know, I think because of Riverside, they give us a break, so it's to our financial advantage to play there, and that's why we got 28 teams. I've had people give me checks in February for the June golf
Yeah.
tournament. You know, oh, we just wanna make sure we get in, you know, and they write you
Don't blame
out,
'em.
they write you out the check, so. That, you know, that's been really a good situation for us.
Sounds good. Look forward to next Tuesday.
Yeah, bring your raffle ticket, Bunny.
Yeah. well,
Is the weather supposed to be
Actually, I
good?
won a couple
Yeah,
of
the
them.
weather's
Is it good
supposed to be good, I've
forecast
been
for
watching
Tuesday?
it like.
Oh,
every
okay,
day.
yeah, that's good.
Cause the weather
But-
seems to change so often, I'm
But
watching it every day.
According to my husband, it never rains on the golf course. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's,
Oh, yeah.
Monday,
It rained
Monday,
on it yesterday, I can tell you that.
Monday and
I don't think it
Tuesday.
stops the golfers, though.
Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday seem to be
Can't
fine.
get him to mow
Yeah,
the
well, I
lawn
still
if
have
it's a
one of the
little
umbrellas in my
drizzly,
car.
but you know, he'll finish his 18 holes.
A little cool on Monday at 69 and the mid-70s.
And that's on Zoom. Boy, I hope.
70.
70 seem to be a good golf day.
Yeah.
Just threw my husband under the bus. Via Zoom.
Yeah, hopefully he's not watching.
I tend to doubt he is.
All right, you all set, Raymond, on that?
Yeah, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a good time, and it's a good cause. Item 3, old and new business, we got any old and new business? No?
We have these forms
Oh, yeah, we have you know, the forms that.
for the DRA,
Oh, yeah.
the MS 45 and the
Yeah.
MS 46 for you to sign.
Yeah. No problem.
Oh, this one's for Deanna. The clerk is special, she gets two.
Yeah, she gets special stuff.
They don't need to start planning this one either.
No, you just have to verify it, that's what that one's for. You verified that we're all here. Everything.
I was gonna buy.
Body.
You said the jury's still on.
Mm,
From Google Home, person seen, front door doorbell,
all right,
and person seen.
Did you, for your questions or comments from the public, did you get the copy of that Willine Pond report?
Big.
And I've asked for more information and they're working on it, but thank you.
Okay, all right, okay. All right. You any other questions for us, Susan, before we move on?
First of all, I think we should take a moment of silence to recognize D-Day, 80 years
Mhm.
today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that many of us might have known somebody who was over there. I want to say back in April, there was a discussion with regard to some protocol changes over at the nursing home with regard to gowning up and whatever. You, Ray, you had said that there was some other stuff coming down, and I don't know whether they were gonna be taking effect in June or July. Do you have any updates on that?
Well, the gowning took effect immediately, so we've already put that in place, the staffing, minimum staffing requirements are phased in over the next 2 years. So none of those are in place at this point,
Okay,
but the gowning is in place and we're in compliance. We have about, and it changes every day. We admitted, somebody yesterday that would require, you know, the aides that took care of him to be gowned. Last I knew, we had 16. That was as of day before yesterday. So 16 of our residents, when we provide them care, our staff needs to be gowned and masked and the whole bit.
okay.
And that's it's a CMS requirement, you know, Center for Medicare and Medicaid, based on a CDC, Center for Disease Control recommendation that actually came out 2 years ago and then was kind of ignored because of COVID. And then, CMS picked it back up again to, make it applicable. So they had it sitting there for 2 years and they gave us 10 days notice. But, we did not comply with the 10 days. I'll tell you that right up front. I think it's about 20 days because we had to go in and identify every resident that had a colonized diagnosis. Now, you didn't have to be active, but a colonized diagnosis of certain difficult to manage infections, MDROs, and then we needed to colonize, and then we needed to identify every other resident in the facility that could have an area, whereas if somebody was cared for the person with the MDRO, they could very well transmit it to the person because they had a catheter, as an example. Now, we don't have many catheters, but because you're trying to avoid catheters at all costs in nursing homes because of infection issues. But so it turned out to be about 16 people. So fortunately, Mr. Superintendent had a whole bunch of boxes of gowns that had been left over that we'd gotten for free during COVID. So we stole them.
To save him for
No,
a
you
rainy day.
transferred from one department to
Team
the
player.
other.
That's right.
Team player, Chris.
Yeah,
That's
Chris
absolutely right.
said he had like 32 boxes, so we.
Wow. Hoarding.
No, what happened was we got a notice at the end of COVID that the state had all of these leftover free supplies they'd gotten from the feds. So I sent work truck after truck down there to pick them up because
Yep.
they were free.
Yeah.
And you never know when you're gonna need them again. So we got as many boxes of everything as we could because they were free. And we had place to store them, so we never expected this. So we got it and it saved us some money.
Always thinking of the taxpayer. I appreciate that.
Well, this just made common sense and I think some places ignored it, but
We didn't.
we didn't. We shipped community work down to pick it up.
Okay,
And we haven't had much COVID this year.
Yeah.
Well, it's always in the summer, we don't get much of the summer anyway, it always
You know,
comes
that's
around.
why.
No, I think we've had, 4 or 5 cases at Riverside this year. So that nobody.
It's nice that you really don't
Nobody
hear
needed to
about
be
it.
hospitalized, nobody.
There was a
needed
time, I never thought
Yeah,
I'd see
nobody
that
needed
day.
Yeah,
Any kind of
Remember that
extra
picture, how many
infections.
people were passing
You
away
probably
each
wouldn't
day?
even know
Yeah,
they
you
had
couldn't get
COVID,
away from it. I got to the
Accepting
point.
that, you know, they
I
had minor
can't even watch
symptoms
this.
and I'm paranoid about testing. In a lot of places, you probably wouldn't even be testing people. But, in our situation, I asked that they be tested and they came up positive. Let's put it this way, the people that I asked to be tested, more of them came up negative than positive, but a few of them came up positive. When I called at 11 the other night, 4 people, had like cold symptoms, so I wanted them tested overnight and they turned out all to be negative, so.
And my last question. My broken record, and I fully understand the process. But has Schmidt replied back, have you guys received a letter, know of a letter that's gone back to the Republicans, with regard to holding a
No.
meeting?
The answer is no.
So he said that he was gonna do this after the holiday, and now we're 2 weeks after the holiday and still no letter.
I can't answer for them, I'm sorry.
And no,
Yeah,
that's fine, I understand.
not as far as we've gotten a copy of. The answer is no.
And the 3 of you won't consider asking for a delegation meeting?
not at this point, we're trying to put together a 6-year capital plan. As a result of the move nursing home, we're asking not only the staff of Riverside, but the jail and the courthouse to put together the capital needs they're gonna need for the next 6 years. So, when that capital plan is vetted by us and we go through it all, then we'll have to take a delegation meeting to look at that capital plan.
Do you have any timeframe?
No, not yet. Well, we're trying, I mean, it would be nice to be done this year, but.
We've certainly put together, what we haven't been able to do yet is get pricing on several
Stuff.
items.
Right.
And as soon as we get the pricing on several items, then we'll, we've identified the needs. I started that right after the budget passed. But, as an example, last week I talked about the sewer.
Well, that was gonna be one of my questions, where do we stand with this?
I'm waiting still for the report.
The report.
We've been on their backs and they've been nicely telling us to get off their backs. They'll get it to us as quick as they can. As an example,
That's just one thing, I mean,
we were supposed to have it at the end of May and we still don't have it, so.
Oh, after the holiday, right?
there'll probably be 100 things on that list.
Well, there'll be a large number of items. Yeah, but, certainly some are more timely than others. And certainly the sewer is a timely issue.
Right.
And, no matter what happens with Riverside,
Right.
That,
doesn't
that's
matter.
something.
it's a ticking time bomb.
Mhm.
If that backs up,
Yeah, it's not gonna be good.
no, because that's some of the main drains out of the facility,
For what?
cause it's at the basement.
Are we, and it's just, I honestly don't
So
know.
where did you
but
hide?
Are we connected to the city sewer?
Yes.
here? Oh. okay.
Yes,
And
in,
I'm assuming city. water.
1990, right, George?
Yeah, 90.
Okay,
Yep, 1990, we have,
We got rid of lagoon, we had a lagoon system.
we had a lagoon
That's
system,
right.
that's all filled in now, but, we had a lagoon system and in 1990, we did
connection.
well, yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's a
swapped,
little bit.
we swapped around a little bit with Dover
With
too.
Dover, when I was mayor, we swapped stuff back and forth, and they tried to get it to happen. Get rid of the lagoons, it was gonna cost us millions and millions and millions of dollars to upgrade those lagoons. And they went nasty. Yeah, they went nasty.
Yeah, they-
Rochester had a similar system they put in when John Shaw was mayor. It's not- not
But yeah, we're tied in, city water sewer.
Okay,
Yeah, we had to run it, we ran it from, the back of Liberty Mutual.
Yeah,
over.
that by the.
Through the, over Hill and Dale, through the woods.
Yeah, there's a old railroad track down there.
And we got an easement, then we had to buy an easement from a gentleman that lived, right near the,
Yeah, Castley.
yeah, a couple of doors down from, Watson Road. And it came out there, and then we came down County Farm Road.
Okay,
And we actually had to resize it when we built a new jail too. From where it's a force main.
Right.
If you drove out this way,
mhm,
and you'd see a pump station.
okay.
We had to resize it from the pump station
Sure.
to where it tied into Liberty Mutual when we built the jail.
The city of Dover maintains the pump station.
Yeah, it's part of the deal they maintain
Right,
it,
the,
because they tied in the leachate from the Thorn Road landfill.
another deal I put together.
Well, it's a long deal. It's a long, complicated thing.
It was all
It's
good.
not simple.
I wanted a new bridge, but I couldn't get it done.
They have a walking bridge now.
You know, walking bridge, yeah.
And we let them do the walking bridge, and they gave us the tie into the gas line.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the gas line went
last line went to Brock.
to Brock's. And we traded
Robert's buddies.
they had come across the property in back of Hyder and
Yeah.
tie in on County Farm Crossroad.
Yeah.
And they let us in turn put in attach our gas line to the walking
Underside.
bridge
Right.
across the Cachico. Otherwise, it would cost us a fortune, because we'd have to have drilled under the Cachico and then drilled back up again. So this way we could just tie it across the walking bridge. Landry gave us that for free in turn for the easement across the property. It was a good deal for both of us.
Interesting history on that bridge. And they built this building. The contractor that built the building wanted to replace the bridge. There was a wooden bridge there, wooden covered bridge. He wanted to rebuild the bridge because this dump trucks could come from the sand pit and come here, because this building was built all on the sand. Offered to build the bridge for nothing. Because it was cheaper
And
for him to build
Than
the
to truck
bridge.
it down,
And to
right.
truck it all over Hell's Kitchen to get everything back in here. And, the city of Dover at the time said, no, we wouldn't let you do it. Then a few years later, the bridge burns down. Okay? Some kids went in there, set it afire and burnt it down. So then the city of Dover got the insurance money from the bridge burning down. And, we wanted them to rebuild the bridge,
And they kept it,
and they kept the money to give tax relief.
and they never replaced the
They never
bridge.
replaced the damn bridge, okay?
Imagine what it cost them to put the walking bridge in compared to what.
Compared to
it
the cost,
them.
for the bridge at the time, that's so
Bridge
stupid. That's, people make stupid decisions sometimes, they don't think of the future. They just think about today, only about what happens today, about what's gonna happen 5, 6, 8, 10 years from now.
Oh, well.
But it is what it is.
We did get the benefit of the
And in the
gas
seventies,
pipeline.
Pete Bouchard and I, we had a mill in Dover called the Eastern States Warehouse that we tore down during urban renewal. And Pete Bouchard was the public works director. And I told Pete we ought to resurface the bridge, because it had wooden timbers. We took the wood, I delivered the wood from the Eastern States Warehouse. They were 18-foot wide planks, 4 inches thick.
Wow.
4-inch thick planking, tongue and groove. You know what that level would cost you to have, you can't, first of all, I don't even know if you
first of
can
all, you can't find somebody to do it.
manufacture.
You
it.
can't,
Right.
you can't find anybody to
Yeah.
put together.
Yeah.
When we were cut, so that when the contractor was taking the mill down, cut them in 18-foot lengths. And, this person, that mill was built in 1820. So the planks are really good planks. There wasn't a knot in them. I took them up here with my boat trailer. And we had prisoners go down and help us spike the just spike them together. They're all burnt up.
Can't do that.
It all it all burnt up in the fire.
My family farmhouse, they had, 18-inch wide planks. They weren't
Yeah.
that thick. But they were just, it was a 5-story farmhouse, a 5-story barn, excuse me. And, for three layers up, they just had these old planks that were setting down that they would put hay on. It was
Yeah.
just so that like you get the wind to whip up through the cupola. And before we sold it, I went in and I took like 7 of those planks and I have them. I have them at my place in case I can get creative and do something with it.
Well, my husband and I built our first house and we owned a sawmill and my kids' bedrooms had 14 and 16-inch wide pine floors.
Mm.
And we were one of the last private people who ran lumber to get those planed, and we lost all of that in the house fire. It was
Ah.
a mistake, an electrical mistake.
Fires.
And, yeah,
Fires are horrible.
and our mill, our original mill was built in 1820, and 100 years later that burned and was rebuilt, and we have some awesome timber structures.
So were you familiar with the Collins's mill off of,
I have to say that I'm a transplant from
Oh, okay.
Rockingham County, okay, so
Well, yeah,
I know the Rockingham County stuff, but not.
Collins's mill, it's right off of,
Whitehall.
Whitehall Road.
Okay.
It's a long time, he hasn't operated in years and years and years, but I've been to where the mill was, Jake and I walked down there. So,
He saw us down
no, it's been a while, George, since the mill operated, because remember, he taught, for a lot of years. And then, he, stepped in as the principal of the high school for a while, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
And then, of course, retired, and but he's still doing okay. I see him periodically.
I saw him at gas station the other
Did
day.
you?
Yeah, I hadn't seen him out and about for a long time, so. Good to see him.
I'm just gonna throw in something, because George, you have so much history. Do you ever sit down with like a tape recorder or a video and just recount some of your stories? Because I always learn something.
there.
It's a double-edged sword right there.
There's some stories we don't want to know.
I understand, but
Yeah.
because, we've lost, I know, looking back over my lifetime, the people that have been involved in government and the history and how things evolve, they're now all gone. And so I have to rely on the stories that I heard. We have a lot of knowledge, and it would just be kind of fun if you sat down for 10 or 15 minutes every once in a while and recounted some of these.
We'll have to get you.
George, you could write a book.
Extensive.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Well, the interesting part about my
Write a
life,
book.
when I was growing up, my family
Uncensored
was in
version.
my family's in public office when I was growing up, so
Mine was too.
their history goes back, prior to World War II.
Mhm.
Like building all these buildings and stuff. My Uncle John was chair of the delegation.
We're getting them on Zoom.
So, yeah. And Dumont and Andy Cordell and all those guys, all the,
No, I still talk to Dumont
yeah.
once every
Andy Junior keeps a boat at my marina.
month,
And
until I
Paul's
call.
grandchildren keep a boat with me at the marina, so I got a lot of connections that go back. If you paid attention to what they talked about, that I did. Because it was just interesting to me, the history of it.
Well, thank you for the history lesson.
Yeah, well, anyway, the bridge has always been a thorn in my side, because I always thought we should have had the bridge back. We had a lot of employees here worked in Rochester, had to come around a long way.
The long way.
They still maintain the right of way, the city still has the right of way that comes up through.
Janet, you
I
could be
walked
here
it.
in 5 minutes,
I
right?
could be here in 5 minutes.
From her house.
Right.
I walked that bridge, we had a resident that who could go out on his own, but he was late to return. And I thought he might be at the end of the bridge, because there's like a little encampment back there. And I walked back there, not that long ago. I was greeted by many people who were camped out there. But they were very nice and had not seen my residence, so.
Yeah, he's only got $150,000 for that bridge, they could have built it for $150,000.
Imagine what it'd be now.
Oh, would be maintenance probably today. It wouldn't last either, it'd be made out of that foreign steel. It's like the Memorial Bridge in Portsmouth, they built it and it's already rusting out.
Yeah.
They spent $100 million on the bridge and it's falling apart. Yeah,
Well, I grew up in the steel town, so.
yeah. What they done, US Steel is a crime.
And you should see Bethlehem, George. I drive by it when I go to the football games in Buffalo. You know, I stay but we end up, Bethlehem Steel is not far from
Yep.
the stadium.
Stadium, yeah.
And we drive by it all the time and you'd be so disappointed to see what it looked like. And I remember it because my family, particularly one of my uncles worked there.
Yeah.
So, you know, he'd sneak me into, you know, to see
Check it
the
out.
process. You know, it's just
Found
great.
it. Yeah.
But it was, you know, it
I was
was,
in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Bethlehem in Buffalo.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've been to Bethlehem Steel and.
Yeah, they have a big,
Yeah.
they had a big
And that
plant,
isn't anything like what.
they had a big plant in Buffalo, a big plant. And my uncle, Fred, he passed away, and he was, worked there for his whole life.
Oh, well.
Now, enough history.
Yeah.
Got some work to do.
Yeah, we got work to do. Okay, we got a motion on a non-public.
Nothing.
Second, we'll call Commissioner Watkins, Commissioner Noel, myself, yes, all right, Commissioner, we adjourn to non-public.
We'll get that stuff to you.
So Ray, she's asking for copies of invoices and checks, and we did give her like some of them early on, so I'll get her those.
Okay, well,
In
just give us a
addition
day
to-
or two.
It's fine.
Well,
No,
we
well-
like to be
I know,
responsive.
but it's okay.
Yeah,
You don't
well-
have to wait for what.
We'll get them to you.
All right, thank you.
So you'll bring that in?
Thank you, Chris.